Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into an overview of professional ethics. If you're stepping into the world of information technology, you're not just learning how to code, build systems, or manage networks. You are acquiring a massive amount of power. And today, we're going to break down exactly how to handle that power responsibly.
Let's kick things off with a quick scenario to test your instincts. Imagine you're a developer, right? You stumble onto this huge security vulnerability in your company's system. Just to test it out, you download a massive database filled with thousands of real user records. Then, you just keep quiet about it. You don't tell a single soul. So, is that legal? Is it ethical? Professional? Who's actually getting hurt here? Keep this exact situation in the back of your mind, because by the end of this explainer, you're going to know exactly how to handle it.
To get us there, here is our roadmap. First, frameworks, theories, and rules. Second, navigating the legal landscape. Third, the professional code. Fourth, a business case study. And finally, synthesis and final reflection. Let's get into it.
Section 1, Frameworks, Theories, and Rules. We're going to understand the foundations of ethical practice. So right off the bat, we have to separate what you can legally do from what you actually should do ethically. It's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking that technical permission is the exact same thing as moral permission. Think about a website that hoards highly detailed data on your every click, just because their massive, unreadable privacy policy technically allows it. Legally? Yeah, they might be totally fine. But ethically, that excessive data collection is highly questionable. Following the law is literally just the bare minimum baseline. Ethical practice demands a much, much higher standard of responsibility from you.
When you hit an ethical wall, there are three major theoretical lenses you can look through. First up is utilitarianism, which is all about consequences. It simply asks what produces the greatest overall good or the least harm. Then you have deontology. This one ignores the outcome completely and focuses on strict rules, asking what is my absolute obligation or duty here. Finally, there's virtue ethics. This is all about your internal character. It asks what would a good, responsible professional do in this exact situation.
The real magic happens when you combine all three of these perspectives. That is how you build a rock-solid ethical analysis. Because think about it, if you only look at the outcome, you might justify breaking a crucial rule. If you only look at the rule, you might accidentally cause a ton of harm. But when you balance the outcome, uphold your duty, and maintain your character, that's when you make incredibly sound professional decisions.
We can actually boil down what it means to be a true IT professional into a pretty simple equation. Professionalism equals competence, meaning you actually know what you're doing, plus responsibility, plus integrity. It goes way beyond technical skills. You could be an absolute genius coder, but if you don't have integrity, you aren't a professional. You're just a liability.
Moving on to Section 2, Navigating the Legal Landscape, focusing specifically on the Philippine legal setting. Operating in the Philippines means you are governed by the Data Privacy Act of 2012, or Republic Act No. 11073. Under this act, you have to build systems around three non-negotiable core principles. First is transparency. No hiding things in the fine print. Users have to explicitly understand exactly what you're collecting and why. Second is legitimate purpose. You can't just hoard data for fun. Processing has to be for a valid, declared reason. And third, proportionality. The data you collect has to be relevant and absolutely not excessive. No grabbing data just in case.
To really put this into perspective, think about a standard student attendance app. It obviously needs a student ID, a name, and a time log, right? But what if that same app is suddenly pulling GPS locations every 60 seconds, reading private messages, and accessing personal photos? Does that pass the proportionality test? Absolutely not. It crosses the line from useful monitoring straight into creepy surveillance. As a system designer, it is your legal and ethical duty to shut that down.
You also have to be hyper-aware of the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, or Republic Act 10175. This covers offenses like illegal access and interception, data interference, misuse of devices, and computer-related fraud. Here is the big takeaway. Having the technical skills to bypass a firewall or intercept network traffic absolutely does not equal legal authorization to actually do it. Doing it without permission is literally illegal access, period. Security isn't just an optional feature, it's a fundamental requirement to prevent these exact crimes.
All right, Section 3, the Professional Code. These are your guidelines for IT business. When you're navigating the messy corporate world, the Philippine Computer Society, or PCS, gives you a very clear compass. Their code of ethics basically says you need to ensure the responsible use of computing for public benefit.
You have to fiercely protect confidential client and employer information. You must respect intellectual property and software licenses, because just because you can copy software doesn't mean you should. And crucially, you have to flat out refuse to participate in any systems that facilitate fraud. Your professional responsibility doesn't just vanish because your boss is pressuring you to cut corners.
So, what happens when you do get those conflicting instructions? Well, there's a foolproof 5-step ethical decision-making model you can lean on. Step 1. Identify the problem. Step 2. Gather relevant facts. Step 3. Evaluate alternatives. Step 4. Make a decision. And Step 5. Reflect on the outcome. You don't need to panic when things get tricky. Just follow this exact procedure to logically analyze and resolve the situation.
Section 4, Business Case Study, where we'll be applying that 5-step model. Let's put this into practice with a high-stakes real-world scenario. Imagine you're an IT intern at a fast-moving fintech startup. The project is lagging behind schedule, and management marches right up to your desk and drops this on you. Bypass the security audit. We need to launch this week. Now, you know for a fact that the security testing isn't finished, and critical user data controls haven't even been checked. What on earth do you do?
Let's run that through our 5 steps. 1. Identify. We have a major clash here, bypassing security for a business deadline. 2. Gather. What are the facts? Controls are incomplete, financial data is highly vulnerable, and there's no proper authorization. 3. Evaluate. If we launch, we risk a massive data breach. If we delay, we face some really angry managers. 4. Decide. We have to prioritize user protection and our legal duties. Meeting a business deadline never justifies exposing users to unreasonable risks. And 5. Reflect. We review the fallout to make sure deadlines don't compromise security in the future.
So what does the responsible response actually look like? Well, you don't just say no and walk away, and you absolutely do not secretly bypass those controls. Instead, you document your specific security concerns. You formally inform the appropriate supervisor or security personnel. You request proper authorization for any security-related actions in writing. And if they still push you to do something reckless or illegal, you escalate it right up through the appropriate channels.
Which brings us to Section 5, Synthesis and Final Reflection. Let's bring it all together.
Stepping back, we really need to look at how ethics, law, and professionalism interact. The law focuses on legal compliance. It tells you what you must do to stay out of jail. Ethics focuses on responsible behavior. It asks what you should do. And professionalism focuses on competence and accountability. It dictates what is expected of you as an expert. You shouldn't just be aiming to avoid illegal behavior. You need to actively strive for responsible, trustworthy computing across all 3 of these domains.
Because here is the truth. Your technical power means absolutely nothing without a clear vision of your personal responsibility. I want you to mentally fill in these blanks right now. As an IT professional, I will protect what? I will respect whose property? I will be responsible for what? What will I flat out refuse to do? And what will I continuously improve? Take a second to really think about that. What kind of IT professional do you actually want to become?
Remember, a successful IT professional isn't just defined by what they can build or hack. They are defined by what they choose not to do, what they take responsibility for, and how they use technology to protect others. Competence might earn you opportunities, but integrity is what earns you trust. Technology gives you immense power, but ethics determines exactly how you use it. We are moving into an era of unchecked AI and massive data collection. The world doesn't just need more coders, it desperately needs ethical ones. So, when the time comes to make the hard choice, who will you choose to be?